Squid Game has been one of, if not the biggest show of the early 2020s, with colorful costumes and intricate set pieces that instantly became iconic. So it's a real shame that, due to the subject matter, they'll most likely never be made into LEGO sets. But what if LEGO wasn't so family friendly? What if one day they decided to make sets based off of Squid Game? Well, that's the question I hope to answer for you all today, with 5 custom LEGO sets based off of seasons 2 and 3 of Squid Game. And I started off by designing some minifigures, beginning with Gi Hun. He's wearing his green 456 jumpsuit and has short, messy hair. His face is quite gaunt and serious, with his alternate facial expression showing him informing everyone that this is not his first rodeo. I then designed 14 other contestants, but we can get to those later. First off, let's get to the builds, starting off with
green light, red light.
This is one of the smaller sets in this video. They do get bigger later, but I wanted to make this a small $15 size set, so I ended up making the giant doll and a few characters. The first figure in this set is the front man, and I neglected to design this guy for the video I made back when season 1 came out, so I wanted to remedy that now. He's pretty simple with a fully gray outfit and his distinctive mask. Next, I made one of my favorite season 2 characters, the legend Thanos. He has purple hair and a tough facial expression, with his alternate facial expression showing a sinister smile with a bit of blood splattered on his face. After that is player 388. He uses the old mullet hairpiece that hasn't been used in a LEGO set for a few years now, and he has a genuine facial expression with a bit of an earnest grin. The fourth and final figure in the first set is player 246. His hairpiece is the new middle part hairpiece in dark brown, and he has a pretty simple grinning expression with some stubble. The build for this set, as I mentioned earlier, is the giant red light green light doll. I based the design on the builds LEGO has done for other oversized characters like Grop and Giant Man, and I modified the designs slightly to give her a dress and pigtails. For the face, I wasn't able to add printing to the actual 2x4 half-cylinder piece, and when I further changed the design of the head, it just looked way too wonky. So I instead opted to edit the face on after rendering, and here's how it ended up looking. Not too shabby if you ask me. The second challenge was the 6-legged pentathlon. This is another small set, don't worry, set 3 is much bigger, so I only made 3 figures for this one. And to start us off is the first of the guards, this one being the triangle-faced one. He's pretty simple with a pink jumpsuit and a black belt piece, and of course a triangle face mask. Although the set is based on the pentathlon, the smaller size of the build led me to opt for a duo instead, the first partner being player 007. He has the newer fin hairpiece in dark brown and has some stubble on his face, and then I gave him a timid smile and of course his glasses to round it off. Then, as you've probably guessed, his mother is his partner. She's grinning and she has her gray hair tied up in a bun. I considered using the Ninjago Coco hair to represent her secret weapon hidden in her hair, but it just didn't look quite right, so I opted instead for just the regular bun hairpiece. The build is once again pretty small, centered around a large tan plate with a circular rainbow pattern. Around this are 5 stations, each containing a different challenge. And this set would also be pretty cheap, though with LEGO's current pricing, I could see this going for up to $25 or even $30 at this point. Other than set number 5, this is my favorite one in the video. It has 5 minifigures, 2 of which are circle guards, so we can basically skip those as they are nearly identical to the triangle ones, but the first name character is player 001, and I suppose this is technically his second figure in the video. He uses a side part hairpiece and has a determined facial expression, ready to do whatever it takes to pass the challenge. Player 390 has a truly joyful facial expression with a large open mouth smile and some stubble surrounding it. He uses the same hairpiece as player 1, but this time in dark brown rather than in black. Last is player 380. She has a black ponytail hairpiece and an almost mischievous grinning facial expression, with piercings in her bottom lip as well as where her nose would be were she not a LEGO minifigure. The build for the set has 2 separate parts, the first being the circular area where players stand and spin around, and it has a carousel style pony on it and can be spun around like in the show. The main build is the actual rooms. It consists of 5 nearly identical sections, which I designed one of, copy and pasted, and then changed the color of the doors. But I didn't want it to be too boring, so in a couple of the rooms I added some bullet holes, and then in one of them I even added a splatter of whatever flows through the veins of LEGO minifigures. Outside the rooms is a bunch of gold detailing all around the area, with some lights up on the roof, and then on either side of the set is a speaker that tells you how many people can fit in the room depending on which round it is. So here's what the set looks like all together, and even even with just 5 minifigures, it can clearly become quite chaotic. Speaking of chaotic, hide and seek is up next. This set also contains 5 figures, the first being the square guard, same as the first 2, but he's got a square on his face, obviously. The first of the actual contestants is player 120, a standout character in this challenge who I knew had to be included in this set. I designed a determined facial expression for this figure and used the newer bob cut hairpiece in dark brown. The other member of the blue team that I included is player 44. She's pretty simple with a concerned expression, a black hairpiece, and mid-legs to show that she's on the shorter side. As for the hunters, I knew exactly which 2 characters I was going to include. The first of which is player 124 with a confident grin and a black slicked back hairpiece. Much like in the show, he looks absolutely ecstatic to be on the red team. On the other hand is player 333. He uses the middle part hairpiece in black, and his facial expression has a big old grin, and I must admit this is because I designed this figure prior to season 3, so had I waited a bit I probably would have given him a grumpier expression, but oh well. Here's a look at all 5 figures. I gave all the contestants colored vests like in the show, with the red vested characters holding pink knives and the blue vested characters holding a pink key. The build once again is on the smaller side, but it's absolutely packed with play features. The outside walls are covered with little star pieces, and if you turn the corner you might just be greeted with a sudden attack, courtesy of the little Technic piece which launches a figure forward. Over on the other side is a green door, next to which is another feature which can be used to flick a character at their next victim, and then through the green door is one of many small rooms throughout the hide and seek course. It has a small rainbow and clouds on the wall, a timer above that, and then the lever which is used to flick a figure on the other side. The 5th and final set is of course based off of Jump Rope, so first let's take a look at the figures, and this is where I finally decided to include Gi Hun as he was really given a moment to shine in this challenge. And since we already looked at him, let's go ahead and move on to player 222, another obvious choice for this set. She has a slight smile and uses the old bob cut hairpiece, and then her alternate face is much more worried, with her accessory being her newborn baby. I also included player 125, the final figure in this video. He uses the Harry Potter hairpiece and looks super stressed, with a concerned expression and bags under his eyes. I also thought about giving him the necklace as an accessory, but I decided against it to keep things relatively family friendly. Now onto the build, and the reason that this is my favorite set in the video is because it has a really fun mechanism that lets you kill your minifigures. But it was kind of a pain to design, so let me walk you through my process. I began by designing both of the giant dolls, which was pretty easy. I only had to make a few modifications to the red light green light one for the girl, and then for the boy I just gave him shorts rather than a dress and a cap rather than pigtails. Then to make the platforms they stand on, I built a wall on its side with an orange fence piece on either end, and then put some Technic pieces through it to attach it to a large 2x2 beam piece. I had 3 of these under the platform, each resting on a 4x4 circular plate. Then I attached another beam piece underneath the platform and attached a bunch of 1x3s with clips to emulate the train track design seen in the show. After that, I copy-pasted this entire thing and then attached the dolls using some Technic pins that attach to the bottom of their feet. And then this is where I found myself in a bit of a pickle. I did not have a plan to attach the actual jump rope. So I backtracked quite a bit and separated the giant dolls at the middle, and from there I did some rearranging of pieces and added a couple of 1x2s with a hole in the middle to the waist area of the dolls. And then from there I was able to attach some Technic pieces to create a simple but fun and effective jump rope play feature. All you have to do is crank the lever at the back of either figure, and then the whole contraption gets going and spins round and round, easily knocking off any figure too slow to leap over it. And then there's not much more to see from the set, but here's how it would look with all the figures trying to cross over. Alright, so here's one last look at each of the games. Let me know down below which one was your favorite and what you'd like to see from me in the future. I do plan to make a video on the new Superman movie, so stay tuned for that, but other than that I don't want to spoil what I have planned for the future, so leave your guesses and suggestions down below. Anyway, other than that, that's about all I had for you guys today. Have a great day, and go build something awesome.